Writing Standard DBQ Essays. Overview. This is part 1 of an 8-part series on how to write standard DBQ essays in history. Each video covers a different step in the writing process. You can watch them all consecutively or come back to review individual steps as needed. Every document I reference will always be available for download in the video description. In this video, I will briefly explain how to write a standard document space question, or DBQ, in history. The DBQ process mimics the process for writing a standard essay in many ways. Because of that, I strongly encourage you to watch the video series on writing standard essays first. I have a link to that series in this video's description. Because the framework of a standard DBQ is the same as that of a standard essay, you will use the same exact outline and processor. You may want to have a copy of both of these documents in front of you as you watch this video. You can download copies of these documents by clicking the links in the video description. The same nuts and bolts used in a standard essay are used in a DBQ essay. If you don't have a grasp of these elements, review the overview video on writing standard essays. When you write a standard essay, it is expected that you will work with an open-ended historical question, develop appropriate context in your introduction, write a solid multi-part thesis, develop distinct claims, and provide sound logic supported with ample evidence. You will need all of these nuts and bolts when writing a DBQ as well. The only significant difference between a standard DBQ and a standard essay emerges when you gather evidence. I'll talk more about that in a bit. First, let's take a look at the basic structure of your essay. As you can see, it's nothing overly complicated. You'll start with an introduction and write body paragraphs that flow from it. Again, you're using the same structure as you did with standard essays. Take a look at this slightly more detailed outline or reference that provided handout, and you'll see the parts of each paragraph. The introduction begins with setting the context of the historical question, leads to the raising of the question, and ends with the answer to the question or thesis. Remember, a thesis will always contain multiple sub-arguments or claims. Each body paragraph will serve to prove a claim from the thesis. It will start with a claim sentence, which is kind of like a mini thesis statement that introduces the claim. The claim sentence will then be followed by a group of sentences that communicate the logic of your argument, along with providing examples we call evidence. This structure is purposely flexible to allow for arguments of varying length and complexity. So far, I've shown you that the structure of a standard essay and a standard DBQ are the same. The big difference between these two writing activities is in the way you gather evidence. With a standard essay, you will likely gather evidence from your textbook, supplementary readings, and class notes. If you're writing it in class without notes, you have to recall the evidence from memory. With the DBQ, you are provided a small collection of documents, like the ones here, to use as evidence. These documents will always be in front of you as you write, which can make the process of gathering evidence less about what specifics you remember and more about reading and writing skills. The DBQ process mirrors the work that historians do when they write articles and books. They conduct research, especially in primary source documents, and develop unique interpretations. You will do the same thing with a small set of common documents. Just as no two historians will come to the exact same conclusion, no two students will write the exact same DBQ response. This allows for you to be creative in how you use the documents, as well as open up the opportunity to debate with others. Here's the sample DBQ I'll be working with in this video series. You can download a copy by clicking the link in the video description. This example is made up of 6 short documents, but DBQs can vary in the number, length, and complexity of the documents. You may see primary or secondary sources, and sometimes both. You might get a photo, table, or graph. All the documents you receive will somehow be connected to the question, and it's up to you to figure out how. Writing a DBQ is a bit like being a detective searching for clues in the documents. So let's begin our investigation. These are the 7 steps to completing a DBQ. Understand the question, read, annotate, and label the documents, bucket the evidence, write your claim sentences, write your thesis, fill out your evidence and logic, and write your essay. Watch part 2 to begin the steps toward writing an excellent standard DBQ essay.